But you did clowning in the circus.
Yes, I did that, and that came about. I've had somebody looking over me all this time. We had a gentleman who did a television show called the Sunday Journal, and he had these touching stories and things like this. And I wrote him, and I said, I've always wanted to work the circus. I said, around Thanksgiving time, the circus comes to New Orleans. I said, you need to get in there with a film crew and watch them set the auditorium up from nothing until the finished product. People would be amazed. And he says, well, why do you have such interest? And I explained, I've always wanted to join. He said, I got an idea for a story. And we went down there, talked to the owner, talked to two clowns, Walter and Mildred Stymax, who were both boss clowns, and actually the only clowns in the show at that time. And they said, why don't you have him come in, do your story? And so the guy said, look, I'm going to put the camera on you, and I want you to hold on to that rope. And I want you to just kind of look like you're dreaming, at play acting, to make the story heartfelt. But he didn't really know how heartfelt I was, And so we did that, and the two clowns said, why don't you bring the film crew back tonight, and we'll put this little guy in the show. And, I had to hold myself down for floating away,
Wow.
So they gave me a new face, completely white face, and then I was using, and went in that night, and we did a bit, and another bit, and then they said, you know what? You want to come back the rest of the week? We can't pay you, but you can come back to the rest of the week. And I said, sure,
Was this a national touring circus, or is this a local thing?
Well, actually, people think it's local. It's called the Shrine Circus.
Oh, okay.
But the Shrine Circus is not the Shrine Circus. It's only sponsored by the Shrine. It actually has a name, like Hannaford, Walinda, Carson Barnes. So I worked 1 year for Tommy Hannaford, and the following year I worked for Carl Walinda, Flying Walindas.
Wow.
And so the circus was a learning lesson. I mean, here I am with osteogenesis imperfecta brittle bones, and I'm being chased, by these two big clowns. And I'm going, in the back of my head, I go, if I fall, it's over with, And I also said, what a way to go.
Yeah.
So, so we're doing the gag one night, and the girl says, all you have to do is grab this folding chair, she says, and run like heck, she says. And, so I am grabbed the chair up to the bit, the clowns run out, and they start to black out, and I look forward, and coming up the ramp at the auditorium was Tommy Hannaford's horses.
Oh, no.
It cost us. Now, I jumped a 2-foot ring curb. Okay? My legs aren't that long to start with, and went back that night and tried to do it again and couldn't do it.
Oh.
It's amazing what a bunch of horses and adrenaline will do.
I thought you were going to say that these things trampled you, and that was the end of your circus career.
No. I made it over, and the lady clown, she had trips. She went under the bandstand, and but it was a learning experience. One night they blacked out, and somebody miscued, and I came out and my shirt was torn, and I thought it was a kid that grabbed me. It was a chimpanzee.
Oh my!
And chimpanzees, when chimpanzees come in, most clowns will go the other way. And I always wondered why. And a chimp had killed a clown once. It's something in their makeup that brings them back instinct in the makeup, because the natives in the jungles wore makeup.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
And that thing would have thrown you like a rag doll.
And but he just reached out, and they weren't supposed to be coming in that way. And I just, thank God, we had blacked out. They black out between each,
Wow.
But we had to stay in makeup. People think clowns are just there to be funny. We had to stay in makeup all night until the show was over. In case something happened, we had to go in and keep the audience busy.
Yeah.
So, and then we had to get up like at 6 o'clock on Saturday and go to hospitals.
So you guys are the hardest working.
Yeah, it's rough work. It really is. Anybody tells you it's easy, it's not.
Now, with the Flying Willindas, did you get to see them, or were they already retired by the time you went to work with them?
No. I unfortunately saw Carl fall.
Oh.
And he fell in Puerto Rico at the time. It was quite distressing. A gust of wind came up, and you can still see it on probably YouTube if you want to. But a gust of wind came up, and you could hear Ricky. I don't know if you remember, not too long ago, a guy walked across the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I remember. I remember the commercials for it are saying you have to be on CBS or something.
I worked with Ricky when Ricky was 13, and now he was grown up and he's doing. Well, anyway, Ricky was on the other side of the building, and he was yelling. The wind came up, and Carl kind of wobbled, and it was like you could hear Ricky yelling, "Papa, sit down! Papa, sit down!" And instead of Carl sitting down, he tried to control that big, heavy pole, and it caught him off balance. And when he went down, he tried to grab, but he was too old and fragile, But Carl always said, if I'm going to go, that's the way I want to go.
So is that how he went?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the story. You saw him die that night.
Well, he fell and he hit the back of a cab. This was daytime.
Oh,
he was almost finished the walk, and that's why I watch squeamishly when I see Ricky do those things, and people do those things. So yeah, I hate this to be so gross. I mean, this.
No, when I was growing up at the magic shop, I used to say, "Wow, what a way to go! You're going out doing what you love." And then I saw a YouTube video of Tommy Cooper having a heart attack on stage at I think it was the Palladium or something. It was in London, and since he was a comedy magician, he collapsed and he's mumbling to himself. He's having a heart attack. I mean, they just laughed and laughed, and the audience was just roaring in laughter. And his assistant thought he was just being silly, and the curtain closed on him, and then they went to commercial, and he was gone. And I was there's nothing cool about dying on stage. It's just...
No.
But when you're a kid, you're like, man, that's a cool way to go.
I've died on stage many nights, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. That's doable. That's okay. You can overcome that.
Yeah.